100 pounds again, live with you here on YouTube. And Friday is my weekly weigh in. I was weighing in live in the mornings, and it was really hard to get naked on YouTube and not have the reflection show. So I just kind of let that go. And now it's like Friday Night Live, right? Like, let's have some fun. And I want to share with you guys because last week I was going in the wrong direction. So this is my planner I created that is like everything on my original weight loss quest, losing 120 pounds. I tried like every planner on the planet. And as I started teaching and helping other people, I was trying to use other planners and it just didn't work because of all the different things that came together on my journey and putting them in place. So this is what my 90-day plan looks like. Super simple, right? I just break out my primary goal and run it down. And last week I was up about 2.7 pounds and I'm back down this week 2.2. So we're back like in the swing, but I also am not near my target for the month. Now, I don't revise that as long as I don't feel like it's demotivating me. I don't revise my goal until I'm more in the middle here because stuff happens, right? Some weeks I'll be down 5 pounds and then I'll be up 2. It just fluctuates, right? Weight loss is not a linear path. It is not a thing that is just going straight down the entire time. So I wanted to talk today about thoughts around food restriction because this came up in my Skinny Bitches coaching call. And I just was really thinking about it a lot more after we were talking about it, about how I really shifted my mindset. And after coaching so many other women, I don't know if this thought that is out there serves us, that if we are telling ourselves, oh, I don't want to eat that, right? That is putting us in this restriction spiral. It's like outsourcing your authority to some dude on Instagram telling you, hey, if you restrict yourself to, I don't know, from Milky Ways or whatever it might be, that you're going to go back and then be binging all the things because you've put yourself in this restriction and all this shit. You guys know what I'm talking about. You've heard this. I know you have. And this has been something that's bothered me on my weight loss journey because I was like, listen, that's bullshit. Even like doing the stuff with I started really losing my weight with the mindset coaching with Corinne with No BS Weight Loss. And she's huge believer in, and you can lose your weight eating anything you ever want to eat. And I was just like, look, I know it's so much easier when I get the processed foods out of my body. I don't want to envision myself forever eating this shit. I want to be free of it, right? So how do I change my mind around that and not become the victim of it? I want to show you guys what this looks like, right? Hey, who's there? Is it Lou or Jen? Anyone I know, drop me a comment. It's so much more fun when we do it together. But I want to show you guys like what this looks like in my mind, because I don't know if I'm saying it clearly enough, but I think it's a really key thing on our weight loss journey to not just fall victim to the, hey, if you're a rebel eater, then you got to plan your Reese's every day, right? Or you're going to feel restricted. The only way of feeling even fucking happens is if it's a thought in your head, right? So the whole concept of it is fucking bullshit. You know what you will feel? See, I'm getting really fired up about this. All right, settle down, Addie. Oh, good, peanut butter cups. So you know what you will feel? You're going to feel like you're addicted to the dopamine hit because they fill our foods with all kinds of shit that makes us want to keep going back for it. So I said, why do I want to keep perpetuating that? And I am not saying I'm never eating a Reese's or I'm never having Ben and Jerry's. I just don't even care to plan it. I don't care to envision my future self eating this stuff. Why? Because it's so much easier without it. And here's why. You have hunger hormones, right? And this is where it comes into play with insulin resistance. I'm going to break down, yes, your Reese's. I'm going to break down the hormones really simply, right? So here's what happens as we're eating processed foods, as we get the dopamine hit from that, we're also putting insulin out there. And when you build up this resistance and you become insulin resistant, it stops leptin. Leptin is the hormone that tells you you're full. So when you don't have access to that I'm full, this is why I tell you, Jen, I will eat a fucking whole entire thing of Oreos. There is no full when little Miss Insulin is running out around because leptin isn't in there telling me I'm full. So your brain is like, I'm not full because your brain isn't getting the message from the hormone. Right. So I think once we start to understand like these hormones and start to listen to our bodies, it's a different game. And so, Jen, you come from my mindset world, right? So this idea, even back when I was doing Corinne's work, like the life coach, like how she leads her group, which I'm a huge fan. So everybody, don't come at me with pitchforks or whatever. But I just said, that's bullshit. I know I'm not going to end up at the end of my journey eating the same as I'm eating now. It's not even fucking possible. And what happened on my pathway to getting healthier and healthier and healthier, I had to keep leveling up, just like I had to do this week because I'm at the next 30 pounds. And every so often, I got to keep shifting, right? Jen, it's like you with your Reese's when we got talking about, all right, what do you need to do for the next 10 pounds, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal, 10 pounds, right? Like, I'm laughing in the face of your 10 pounds, my darling. I'm like, oh, to have 10 pounds. But I also remember being there and being like, I'm going to get this bitch, right? And knowing that maybe my Reese's cups in the afternoon are not serving me, right? So there's two ways you can think about this. And one is absolutely going to make the Instagram guy that is telling us that, hey, if you restrict your foods, you can't do it. First of all, fuck you, dude. You don't get my agency. I'm not a victim to all the sugar crap in the world. I get to choose, right? And if I choose to eat the stuff, then I choose to eat the stuff. More power to me. In fact, when I was feeling like shit for 2 years, really sick, I ate a lot of the shit knowingly, getting that comfort in my brain and my body, but like I'm aware and I know what's happening. So anyhow, I love no BS, but struggled with only eating when hungry and being able to stop. I wouldn't have been fat if I could stop. And this is right. And this is where understanding the hormones, I think, is critical and why you hear people talk about. And I don't even like to get into diets because everybody's all over the place. And I just get really passionate about what I discovered on my own. I have a lot of podcasts about this. But, you know, I was always opposed to that because I was like, oh my God, no, if you keep eating this shit, it is so much harder. It is just harder. Why would I want to make my life harder? Science shows us it's harder. And this is, again, yes, mindset work. It's not a diet, but it's also knowing and understanding your body and how the systems work and what, like, I watched myself regain 80 pounds, knowing what was happening, knowing my hormones were out of alignment, knowing all of these things and seeing myself doing it and allowing myself to comfort myself with food. Right. So I'm like seeing it happen. I think it's another thing and a disservice to women all over the fucking planet. So I'm going to show you why that we don't talk about like how your hormones affect your eating cycle, right? So when you're insulin resistant, which by the way, people with insulin resistance and that can't hear leptin, can't hear that they're full, that's what the GLP-1s are made for, right? Like, because you literally, if you're insulin resistant, it blocks leptin and you can't hear leptin doesn't go when insulin is out, right? If you think like little Miss Insulin's out there running around and you can't even hear leptin, the one that goes to your head. And then, so you don't know you're full, right? So thought-wise, it looks like this, Jen. We're going to take your Reese's. Do you mind, my friend? Let's take your Reese's. Let me move my microphone a little bit. I want to make sure it still records me. But So let's take your Reese's, right? Like, so we can think about this in a lot of ways, a lot of restriction. Okay. So if we take, there's Reese's peanut butters, right? So the fact is, they're Reese's peanut butter cups. Here's another thing I like to think about with restriction. First of all, our food in America is fucked. If you go around the rest of the world, they don't even allow them to make it like they make it here. They put so much stuff in our food to keep us addicted. But that's a whole nother rant, right? But let's just take your Reese's. That's just a fact, right? The circumstances, hey, we have Reese's peanut butter cups, right? The only thing, it's only an object. The only way you feel one way or another about this is your thought about it. If you don't even know what a Reese's is, if you're like some person that grew up in the middle of Africa and never seen a Reese's peanut butter cup, like you don't care, right? So what matters is how we think about this. So if we choose to think, like Jen, what is your thought about Reese's, right? Like, oh, they taste so good. Oh, I need some peanut butter, right? Like, what is your thought about it? Share me your thought. And then I'm going to share a restrictive way we think about it, right? Because we're going to have Reese's over here too. And I'm going to show you how I choose to think about processed foods and how that really changed the game for my future self, right? Like I'm not saying I'm there, you guys. Like I had an acai smoothie yesterday that I swear to God, my heart was palpitating. That sucker had so much sugar. And I even had a better plan, and it was a whole monkey mind moment. We can deal with that. We can deal with my thoughts around that later. Let's deal with your Reese's. They make you happy. There you go. That's quite a thought, right? Now you realize you have agency over that thought, right? So our thought is here, right? They make me happy. And then how's that make you feel, Jen? You're already, I guarantee you, so your thought and then your feeling, I guarantee you before you even eat that Reese's, you are getting a dopamine hit. Just from thinking about it, you get a happiness hit in your brain. Do you see the addiction cycle there? Like it's and I don't know. I say addiction loosely, but right, but it's the whole habit cycle, right? It's like having the cue, the thought, you reward it, right? Like that's what we're doing with this. So it makes you happy for sure. I want it now, right? So you got the dopamine hit. So they make me happy. It makes you feel excited, probably. You're like super stoked. You're going to go get this. Yeah, shit, my mouth is watering. You know what I mean? Like, I want the friggin' Reese's right now. So we're feeling excited. And then we go off, and the action we take around that is what? Go get the Reese's. And if you don't, here's the difference, you guys. So if you don't go get it, what Instagram dude is telling everybody is that when your thought is this, Reese's make you happy, because that's what we want our lives to be, right? That candy bars make us happy. We're not going to change this, right? Why the hell would you change that? You're just going to go get it in a smaller dose. You're going to go get it so you don't deprive yourself. Victim. You don't want to be a fucking victim. So your action is to go get it, or you're white knuckling, right? If you don't go get it and this is your thought, you are very uncomfortable, probably, right? Like I know when I do this, when I don't try to address this or find like another way to get some dopamine or something, when I white knuckle it, this is where we fall off the wagon, or whatever Instagram dude wants to tell us, right? And then what is our result? Is we eat all the Reese's. Gain or don't lose, right? Like, I know you're eating them and you're not gaining, and that's cool, right? Oh, yes, very uncomfortable and it's obsessed with, right? We become obsessed because our brain already has the reward. It wants more of it. It's like, I know if I keep up that brain cycle for Jen, eventually she's going to cave and go get it, just like the toddler with the candy at the grocery store, right? Your kid's sitting there crying, crying. They want the candy, want the candy. Finally, you cave because the kid is bawling for like an hour in the middle of a grocery store. Guess what you just taught that toddler? Bawl your eyes out and you're going to get candy. Our brains are the same way, right? Like, so this is part of it. Envisioning that we're gonna work on is really gonna help with this too, and that next weekend's workshop, Jen. So this part of it, here's what I said. I was like, well, this sounds fucking horrible to me. Why would I want to keep eating foods that made me feel that way? Like once I started to understand my blood sugar spike and how that resulted in affecting my hunger and me not hearing full signals. And this might be something to play with too, Jen, because so often we eat so frequently throughout the day, where insulin is always out, depending on what you're eating. And this is why getting into different types of food can be really powerful too. And so I decided that my thought is just, I don't eat that. I'm not the person that eats that. And it's really interesting. This thought is really hard for society to take. They're like, oh, you're restricting yourself. But if I say, oh, I can't eat that, I'm not eating it because it'll break me out, people immediately accept it. Fascinating, right? I'm like, how about I'm not going to eat that because it makes the inside of my body shit. Because as I age, it'll give me cancer. Because like there's a million reasons that we can't outwardly see that we would prefer to have a thought like this, right? And so I'm not the person that eats that. I'm empowered, right? It is my choice. And sometimes I might see it and be like, I never eat that, but today I'm making an exception. Like this is the exception, not the rule, because I can't manage my fucking brain. Right? Sorry, Jen. You know what I'm saying though, right? Like I don't want to be the victim. Right? So the dude that's telling us, hey, if you restrict things, then you're never going to keep the weight off. This is why you keep regaining. No, fuck that. Self-discipline is love, right? Like, how can I show up more dedicated to this person I want to become? This is where change, this is where never worrying about food again, this is where freedom comes from. And for me, freedom from food comes when processed shit's out of my body. Because then I'm not like a raging fucking hormone about it. And at different types of menopause, this will hit differently too, like way differently, right? So I'm empowered. And then what happens? It's no big deal. I don't eat it. And then I move about my day and I lose weight. Or even better yet, I just feel better, right? And it is true. Like the cleaner and cleaner I eat, that like you taste sugary things like that acai smoothie I had last night, just really too much sugar, too sweet. I'm like, can you make this for me without sugar in it? Like, would that be so hard to do? Right. So, like, me seeing how do I want to live? And every time I say this, someone's like, well, I don't want to never have cake again. I'm like, dude, okay. I'm not saying I'm never having cake again. I'm not saying you're never having cake, but I am saying this. When I eat a fucking piece of cake or a Reese's, I'm going to know what's happening in my mind and my body. I'm no longer eating it blindly, just giving in to the dopamine and the chemicals. And this was my same journey with wine. I noticed this with wine really quickly. I went to a yoga class and I was done with work early and my brain immediately was like, oh, you can go to happy hour. And I noticed immediately got the dopamine hit, even thinking about happy hour, because there's no stronger dopamine hit to your brain than wine, except for heroin, wine, and then sugar foods and fried foods. Right. So all of that stuff like hits major dopamine receptors in our brains. So I think it's just powerful to understand the science behind it. And if you're not in a place where you're feeling your hunger hormones, knowing this so you don't make it worse if and when you ever are feeling your hormones, like when you move through, if you're on a GLP-1, for example, let's say, and all of a sudden you come off it and you've got insulin and leptin out there and you're feeding it, it just makes your life harder. So why not set our lives up now? Like, what do I want my future self to look like? Like, should I know, like, when I just feel so good, it's really such a tiny part of my life. And I started having, not food. I think there's great pleasure in food. And I think I can enjoy food and not have a bunch of processed crap food too. I really had a lot of different alternatives. I don't want to be a victim or controlled. Yeah, Jen. So I had like Slayer's Avo Bowl, I had my yogurt parfait, and I had to stop eating these things. So it's really like for me, recalibrating and adjusting and figuring out what what I can eat now with my new understanding my body and what is going on, right? But I just wanted to share with that because I just can't let it go. I just because I like I just want to help everybody. And I just think it's such a disservice when that fucking restriction message is out there. I can't tell you how many women I've coached. They don't see this. They don't understand this. They think like if they picture their future self not eating cake, oh my God, they can never, their brain fucking loses it. I'm like, but why would you envision a future where you have it if you could just be happy not having it? Why would you make your life harder? Like, if I can create anything I want to create in my brain and envisioning and creating my future self, why am I going to create a future self that is just free from food? Like, it does not control me, right? Like, why am I not going to do that? Or that I'm going to at least be in awareness of it, right? So, anyhow, that was my little rant about that. So my brain last night, and it was funny because I would have been down even more on the scale today, right? But I picked Millie up from she's taking the tram now, which is kind of cool. So we have this light rail they built that has kind of been the laughing joke here because they've been building it for like 18 years or something. But so she took the tram and I picked her up and we had our eye appointment and we were early. I was like, okay. She's like, Mom, could I get a smoothie at Down to Earth? And there was like huge line. So we went over to this new acai place. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll get a little acai or something because I knew I was hungry. And that was my brain getting excited. She was getting excited, right? But I also am never like, Addie, you can't have that. But I'm not the person that normally eats that, right? Like, it's just not who I am. And even like the weight I regained, like, there's just things like I'm just not the person that eats that. And I'm creating a new identity. And what does she eat? I've had to change everything I eat because of the mold and toxins and all of that. And so this is a new learning journey for me. And it's been interesting. It's been eye-opening, like eating the same 8 foods, right? But I did a couple of things this week. I leveled up my veggies like a ton. I was already just kind of testing things I could put back in because I can't figure out what's flaring me, right? So I've added back in my big ass salad every day now is like lettuce, apples, cucumber, fennel, dill. Um, what else do I put in there? There's some other shit. Jicama. I think that's about all of them I'm up. And I just dice it all up, chop it all up. I make like 3 different bowls at the same time while I'm making it. And then I'll do a protein and usually some softer vegetables. And then I have potatoes and rice I've been playing with. And those have like I have to dial those back, Jen, right? Because like the rice, so I have a low glycemic rice I purchased. And I think that happens with the insulin or the sugar response. But potatoes for sure do not love me on the scale. But when I'm eating like 10 foods, right? But then I was like, hey, do you want to hit this goal or not, Slayer? And I sat there with myself. And because for those couple years I was gaining weight, you guys, I was so miserable in my own skin. You can look back at photos and videos of me, my face just covered with eczema, swollen. I was just miserable. Like if you've ever like Jen, you have some skin stuff, right? Like I literally all I could do to roll out of bed, get to work, come home, and like go back in and try to not scratch myself all night. I went on Dupixent, started shooting myself up every couple of weeks, and that helped a little bit, but then my eyes got bad. And so this year I was like, fuck that. Right. So I went low FODMAP, low histamine, and got all the had all those toxin tests done. I did that like last year. So I've been detoxing this for like a year, like I take activated charcoal and I do gut health repair stuff. Like I have this whole regimen I'm doing to heal from the inside, which is where my weight loss journey took me, right? Yeah, skin is so hard, Jen, because it's out here for everyone to see, right? When you get sick inside. And I think this is one of the great things about this. And watching how people respond to me when I share it differently. Like it's okay. It's the same with wine. Like, oh, I'm not drinking because it inflames me, socially acceptable, right? Oh, I'm not drinking because I choose not to drink. All right. If you hang around a bunch of people that drink, oh, come on, just have some, right? Just have some, you know? So, anyhow, this whole mindset shift was like so friggin' key for me on my journey last time. And I just kind of like with no BS, love it. I'm still in just to like get Corinne vibes, right? And she'll drop like I love when she coaches people. She'll drop like I always pick up a nugget, you know what I mean? And I can listen podcast style. But one of the things like you can eat whatever you want. And this is why I just stopped kind of coaching specific food and stuff. I even went and I got certified by Dr. Mindy Pauls in her Fast Like a Girl because I'm a huge fan of intermittent fasting for autophagy, cell renewal, reduction of inflammation. I found it for those reasons, not weight loss. And it's been a fucking game changer, but also the people losing weight understanding how their bodies are served by not constantly feeding them and how powerful they are and heal themselves. But that's not why I was telling you that. So I went and got certified by her, and I thought I was going to like coach it and help people get out the other end. And it just like everyone's just got their own journey with food, I think. And I'm like, I'm share all the information and what I think about things, but like helping people come up with their own diets and their own food and getting to this part is more interesting to me than doing the whole, okay, let's test your blood sugar and see where it goes and all. I'm like, you can do that shit, right? Like, I want to do like, hey, how do we fix our minds around it? Because the diet, like that can be the easy part, but I do think the understanding the hormones and how your body is reacting is critical. And um yeah, Jen, I've had eczema since I can remember. And once it just got so much worse with I try not to talk about it too much because I'm working to really heal myself from even like quantum like thoughts and vibrations and all of that, right? But the mold toxicity and toxins in my body just all coming out through eczema everywhere, right? And I think some toxic steroid withdrawal because I had some steroids I would put on spaces around my body. Did you know with toxic steroid withdrawal, like it doesn't even necessarily show on your face or on where you put it? Because I'm like, I never put this shit on my face because I didn't want to thin my skin on my face, particularly, right? Like screw the rest of me. But with toxic steroid withdrawal, it's the first place it comes out. So here for 2 years, I was walking around with this, like it was just If you watch the podcast from this week, you guys, I dropped like in the beginning where I'm talking about it, you can see there was a video of me that I just threw in there that you could just see like how uncomfortable it was, you know? Um, my mind is my problem. Yeah, that's what I love about this group. Yeah, the mind is all our problems, right? Like once we get food resolved from you know what to eat, you know what a portion is, you know, you can write a food plan and look at what you ate and what the portions are. That is and I lost 120 pounds, not counting a calorie, not tracking a point, not doing anything but future self work, meditation, mindset work. Right. And it was that body regulation, managing my mind every single day. And I'm making a video I'm recording today about visioning, Jen. And so this is our game changer next week. So anyone in Midlife Badassery, in the premium and VIP membership, I do a game changer every month. So it's like a workshop where we get together and we actually practice the shit that's in the self-help we read, right? And this book is really good, right? And I've been visualizing forever. And there's 3 different places in the daily planner where I visualize. And so I'm going to share in the visualization how like when I write my goals, how I'm seeing an outcome visualization, like I'm using my brain and my mindset, like marrying the woo and the science, goals, weight loss, all of it makes it fun, right? And then I do my future self visualization. And then I was like, oh my God, you know, these obstacles we talk about, like every day I'm like, okay, what could get in my way this day? I see something get in my way and I'm like basically doing a negative visualization, which is where you see an obstacle and then you determine like how you're going to overcome it and you see yourself overcoming it. And then when I do this, when I set my intentions for the day, like right here, I write my timeline and then I set my intention for each segment. Like I think I wanted to have fun on this. Like fun was my intention for this, right? Here's my Facebook Live here. And I had to get a little bit of my rant out to Claude because I'm like, look, I don't want to sound like a total bitch, like, or like come off like this know-it-all, but also I want to share knowledge I have and like, how do I do that and not offend people? And I probably did anyway, but you know. So I didn't even know thin skin probably for 20 years. The doctor never said a word. Yeah. Yeah. And they still will prescribe us all of those fucking steroids. And there are groups and groups and groups dealing with toxic steroid withdrawal. And the toxic steroids withdrawal is way worse than my eczema ever was. As bad. And then when I had the mold toxicity and all that other stuff, it's been a journey. And I just knew it was worse here in Hawaii because it's not dry at all. And so when I moved back, I knew it was going to be a battle, but I didn't realize how it was going to be. Not that I wouldn't have came back anyway, but I might have adjusted things in my lifestyle sooner, you know, so that I could adapt physically, but it doesn't matter. Hey, no would have, should have, could have, man, because life is exactly where it's supposed to be. So that's another visualization, right? And then I do the big visualization where I see my future self. Hey, what does she think? How do I feel? I get in that energy. And then I write out the rest, like what thoughts am I having? What do I want to think instead? Hey, who else is there with us? I see we got someone else here. I can't see who it is though. Like on sometimes like on Facebook or whatever, I can see who the little circles are. But unless you comment, I can't see who you are, just so you know. In case you're here, in case it's like Lou or something and wants her mind managed too, let me know. So Jen, I'm curious for you. So anyhow, visioning next week, you guys, going to be a game changer. And we're starting off with Atomic Habits first. So if anybody's watching this, you need information, reach out to me. Come join us in Midlife Badassery if you're not in already. It's a free trial, 7 days and only $7. I mean, come on, like cup of coffee, man. So anyhow, why was I telling you about visualization? So seeing yourself shift this, right, Jen? So if you're like, I really want these 10 pounds, and maybe what you want more than that 10 pounds is the freedom from it, is the freedom from food. It's like, I want to be the person, yeah, I enjoy chocolate cake when it's my kid's birthday or it's my birthday or what, or socially I'm out, I'm in France and I want to get a croissant oozing with some sugar shit or whatever, right? Like there's times in my life where I am for sure eating that shit. You know what I'm saying? But I also have a way to manage it and a mindset around it. And it's not, it becomes what it was always intended to be, which I think is a treat, right? Even things like all these, like, oh my God, the protein chips and the crackers and like you wear a CGM, a continual glucose monitor. And I did this just for kicks to see how my body reacted to everything. And you can see that sugar spike like this. And when it doesn't drop, that means like you're like that insulin isn't being managed and you're never going to hear that hunger, that full hormone, right? Yeah. So if you want freedom from food, Jen, like let's say here, let's find your new thought for you, right? Like my mantra for the whole time I was figuring this out because it didn't sit with me, the lose weight and eat whatever you want. I was like, I would already have been there, right? Like that, like I don't like to restrict my portions on things. I'm a volume eater too. I want to like I should preface that. I'm a volume eater. Whereas like my daughter Lexi, she will eat like little dainty tiny meals like all day. And I'm like, give me a fucking vat of food. Let's go. Right? I'm like a volume eater. So let's say you want food freedom, right? And what does food freedom look like, right? What do you think what does free from food look like, right? That's the question. What do you think that looks like for you, Jen, when you're like free from food? Louise, what's up, sister? I was wondering if it was you. So we're working Jen's Reese's peanut butter cup because I got fired up in the skinny bitches call yesterday about food restrictions. So I had to get it off my chest about how I choose to think about food like this. So I'm not the victim of the food shit they serve us in America in particular, right? Being able to not eat it, it doesn't control me, right? Like, so what is your, so food freedom, doesn't control me. And I think this would be your mind too, right? Doesn't control your mind. Like this, I noticed with the whole Ben and Jerry's debacle last week, right? Like I saw my mind doing what it was doing for you guys catching up, right? So I was like, oh, I need gum. I was out of gum. I chew way too much gum. It's another story, but it's the whole ADHD, I gotta focus thing, right? So I went to Target to get gum and I was like, oh, I need something chocolate. I want something chocolate. Why? Because I'm in like the store of the gods with all the food everywhere, right? And I was like, oh, well, maybe I could just get one of those mushes, right? And just have a little bit of that. Now, mind you, I used to just eat some dark chocolate or have my yogurt parfait. And I'm reacting to that stuff. There's a lot of mold in the stuff I was eating, like the cacao nibs, things like that, that I was supplementing with that I really liked and enjoyed are gone for me now. And I'm like, those are things I actually would react to, but I can eat a Ben and Jerry's pint and not have a reaction. Like if I did, it would never be a problem, right? Like, but I also don't, I'm not choosing, this is the end game I'm choosing. I'm choosing freedom from food, right? So just being aware of the situation. What did I really want? What did I really need at the time? Was I probably was tired. I probably needed to lay my ass down and take a nap and not take my ass to the store to get sugar because I felt like I had to keep working. right? And I didn't take care of myself first. Had I taken care of myself first, that's why my new alter ego I resurrected, you guys, is called the regulator. Because this is my whole focus this time on this 100 pounds is how do I become the regulator? The person that can succeed at her business and succeed in her healthy goals and travel the world and put herself first every single day. Like, what does that look like? And as I start to get in on my business more and I'm doing more and I'm creating more, I was seeing that slip on the other side. And it's why I wasn't moving the needle on the scale anymore. Right. And I had to have like a little come to Jesus with myself and be like, all right, like, what do we want this goal? Like, can we do both simultaneously? Yes, I know we can. That's what we're here for this round, like to figure that out. So, Jen, for you, your action here is you don't eat it, but you're eating it from you want to find a thought that is going to empower you, right? Because remember, if your thought is, oh my God, I love Reese's, I can't wait to have one. Like, what is a thought that, yeah, come to Jesus, man? I don't know where that saying is from, Lou. It's probably a American shit. I don't know. So, um, so Jen, what is a thought you could have? Even I'm practicing to be the person that doesn't eat this. And then I would suggest you need to go to some regulation maybe. Like, you know what? Brain, I see you. I know you want it, right? Because what happens with the Reese's? We still have the Reese's and we're looking for this new thought, right? Like, how can you start to bridge the gap to go from, because if we just constantly keep being the people that think, oh my God, Reese's make me happy. If your thought is Reese's make me happy, you're never going to feel empowered here. Right. So, how do we change that thought? Reese's make me happy. And every time you deny Reese's make me happy, your brain is getting a message. Remember how we talked about the pathways in the brain, you guys, with the roads and the pavement, and like it's hardwired. Like, you've been eating Reese's for fucking years. That shit is grooved in. But every little time you make a choice, I'm not that person. I choose not to eat it and I love myself. I'm not eating it because I love myself. Like, how can you get away from feeling de- um, deprived? Because this is how people feel when they think they're being restricted, right? They feel deprived. So how can you change that? Like, I like that. I'm practicing, right? So if you have the thought, I'm practicing to be free from food or whatever the thought is, right? I'm practicing to be free from food, so I tap instead, right? Or something. So, or you can even set yourself up even easier than that. You know what? You see, oh, I should go get a Reese's. You see the thought come in. And then you see the thought say, oh, Reese's make me happy or whatever it says, right? You say, hey, you know what? That's right. We're practicing to be free from food. I am in charge here. I'm going to decide if that's really what I want or if this is just the little toddler brain going at it. You know how I'm going to learn that is I'm going to tap first. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to go outside and get sun on my face. And then I'm going to see if I still want to eat the Reese's. And then I'm making an empowered choice. Right. But when we're making the choice from the place of I'm stressed at work or I'm tired or I'm bored, then we're in that friggin' dopamine cycle to the brain and we never stop with, or we stop and we feel restricted and white knuckled and then we give in and we go eat all the shit. And that's the difference, right? So, so Jen, if you start practicing this week and see if you start feeling powerful, right? Like, can you feel powerful? Like, no longer that little fucking Reese's bitch isn't in control of Jen. Jen's in control of that fucking Reese's. Sorry, I cannot say this shit without cussing all over the place. I'll probably get banned. Can you cuss on YouTube? I think you can. I say it's not for kids. So, yeah, powerful. Yes, that's you, right? Okay, Lou, let's do you. Lou, what's going on? Oh my God, this is like when I get the munchies and there's nothing to eat. So I hit handfuls of the saltanes, and that's not conscious choice. Sultanas. I don't know what sultanas are. Must be one of those Australian foods. Um, it always hits late at night. I'm watching this now. Yeah. Listen, Lou, you're not only going to build your business, you're going to be one healthy bitch when you get out the other side of all this too, right? Like, yeah. Oh, like raisins. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I get that too. I get it. And sometimes I spent 2 years intentionally comforting myself with food. It really felt like all I had. And it was fun because, like, in I told you I'm still in No BS, so I'll listen to Corinne's podcast and stuff. And she was talking about regain, and she was like, sometimes when we go through things in life, like a big loss or big moves and stuff, like food is a comfort. It's okay to have comforted yourself with food, right? Now, what are you going to do about it, right? Like if you're unhappy with the regain, what are you going to show up and do about it? And I really loved that. It was such a beautiful, compassionate thought for myself at the time, because watching myself in the regain was painful, right? But I also was so sick, I didn't give a fuck. Right? Which is so not like me. Like, if you guys have learned anything about me, I give two fucks about like too much shit. Okay, I'm gonna stop cussing every other word. Okay, I'm excited with making an offer, and it's pretty full on. I haven't even had a chance to look yet, Lou. I've got to record today, so I hope to get to it before bed. It's pretty full on, but I'm more confident with some help I got. Yeah, I saw Amy and Christy were in there. I was like, oh, good. Thank you, girls. Um, I find that when I stress, that's when I eat big time, overeat even with healthy food like my homemade biltong, jerky. Yeah, right? Stress eating. So, Lou, do you want to talk about food thoughts, or you want to talk about business thoughts, or do you not want to talk about anything at all? We don't have to do that. You guys are coming to build your alter egos, right? I am because I'm building alter ego Slayer 3.0. And Slayer 3.0, I was just writing about her this morning. Jen, I don't know if maybe this will help you, but Slayer 3.0, she is regulated. That's a given because I'm calling her the regulator. So for anyone watching this, so we make alter egos in my group because it's identity-based weight loss, right? And it's how I lost 120 pounds. I made Slayer my first one. She was really slaying goals. And I think she was white knuckling in the slaying of the goals quite a bit because I didn't yet have the knowledge that I just imparted with you guys earlier here about the hormones and understanding my hunger and all of that. And not just understanding feeling hunger in my body, like Corinne would teach. Are you satisfied, not satisfied? Understanding the science of what the hormones are doing in my body. If anyone wants the link to that podcast I did that really talks about in detail where the insulin comes from. And of course, I had to make it like a superhero analogy. So as I'm making Slayer, I'm like, Slayer is disciplined, right? She's full of self-discipline. She is full of self-love. And to me, discipline, and this is something that like chat was giving me copy, and I've stopped I'm making sure I write stuff first and then I'll put it in chat to help me because I noticed it pumping out a bunch of coach bullshit like everybody else. And it kept wanting to say that I was saying that discipline isn't your problem. And I beg to differ. I'm like, wait a second, what are you talking about? Of course it is. Like us showing up to what we say we're going to do in trust of ourselves is absolutely discipline. I think discipline gets a bad rep, right? Like discipline is the highest form of love if I'm showing up for what I decided I want to show up for. If I'm showing up for someone else's plan that makes no sense to me, or that I'm constantly white knuckling shit, then that's different, right? So I decided she needs discipline, She needs to be regulated. And this is love is always in my thing. And I think this is something I'm just really good at because of my mom. Kudos to Big Dar. She was always like, anytime we had a negative thought, anytime we said something negative about anybody, anything on the planet, you guys, love, don't hate. I literally hear her in my head. I can't say something bad about anything or anyone without hearing, love, don't hate. And I'm 53 fucking years old, right? But like that shift she gave me so early in life, I really think set me up. I'm just so grateful for her, even though it was kind of like a little annoying when I was young. I'm like, I just want to bitch about something. Love, don't hate, right? But this part is about like, how can I love myself so much? How can I keep putting myself first every single day? Like today, I upped my treadmill to an hour and I worked on it. I talked to Claude. I'm like, but what does it look like when I'm really taking care of myself and operating the kind of business I want to operate? Because, like, as you're a founder and you're creating your business, it's a lot. It's exciting, it's fun, it's stressful, right? It's longer hours, it's all of these things. But if I just would fucking stop, sit my ass down and meditate, then I'm not running off to Ben and Jerry's, right? Yeah. So I have still learned to read hangry correctly in my life. It's our responsibility, self-love. Yeah. So this is like, so regulated, self-discipline, self-love, those are my big ones for Slayer this time, I think. Like fun, authenticity, inspiration, those are my personal values, right? So I already got that covered. Brookster's got all the business stuff covered. The Slayer is how do we take care of ourselves even more and more? And this is going to also look like for me, Jen, less rice, less butter, less like just being real about myself. And that's not restriction. That's me figuring out how my body is working to be my healthiest and highest self. Right. So that's where I'm headed with it. And I'm like, that whole food is fuel mantra, right? Food is fuel. This was my mantra for years as I was getting to Wonderland. And I just, yes, and when it is fueling me, the food feels good in me, but it takes a while, like, I have to get the other shit out for the food to, like, where I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm getting my energy from food again." I'm not even on my hormones right now, you guys, and I feel really good. So, I don't know if maybe the whole toxin thing or maybe just me taking care of myself better again. I don't know, but it feels like it's working, so I'm not complaining about it. You know what I'm saying? So, Lou, let's chat on food. I'm finding I'm getting sugar hits and lows. I'm not sure why. So, yeah. So, Lou, when is the sugar happening for you? Is this like, are you noticing like after you're craving sugar or like what does that look like? And you guys, Ayurveda, have you guys heard of Ayurveda? It's a 5,000-year-old life science, a big yogic path thing, right? Indian spirituality and oldest medicine from that we kind of know around today. And in Ayurveda, the science says, like from them, that our little taste buds, we have like 7 different things we're tasting for. And when you don't hit all of those tastes, you still feel hunger. There's a little spot in our brain that tells us we're full, and it's triggered by these senses. So I found this to be fascinating too. So I started adding things in. Like I did what are they? I need to look up the 7 tastes of Ayurveda. Hey, I'm gonna look it up, you guys. Ayurveda. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, 6 tastes. Sorry. No one is shad rasa, not 7. So you want to make sure you're getting all of these elements, right? So sweet, madhura. This is part of earth and water. It's a very nourishing grounding, grains, milks, natural sugar, root vegetables. Sour, amla, amla maybe. Earth and fire, warming, stimulating, digestive. This is citrus fruits, yogurt, vinegar, fermented foods, salty. We all know what that is, but just in case you're curious, that's water and fire. Hydrating, grounding, softening, pungent, fire and air. This is things like chili peppers, garlic, ginger, black pepper. And then uh-oh, I lost bitter, ether and air, cooling, light, detoxifying, leafy greens, turmeric, bitter melon, astringent, beans, lentils, green tea, pomegranates, raw, and bananas. Those are just some examples, right? But like all of those, like if you're not hitting some of those, and I always found it interesting, like I don't often have something bitter. And one of the things I bought this last time to beef up my salads was this, it was called Forze or something. It was a like a leafy green endive, because like endive always came up on my gut health test as being really good for my gut, right? Because you can get these gut health tests that are, they test your microbiome and it tells you what foods to feed your microbiome to for your best optimal gut and body health. And I'm a huge believer in this. I got my last one. I can't even do it because of the whole um mold and all of that. I didn't input my data correctly. So I might try another one, but doing that Viome test, you guys, and when I got down to like, Jen, you're at your fighting weight, right? So like figuring out something like that, like how am I feeding my gut health and what you're doing for yourself for longevity, like getting into that part of your maintenance, right? And like kind of having fun with that. I could literally feel my body processing the food for energy. Like I would just take all my superfoods, dump them in a bowl, which is where my big ass salad came from today, dump it in a bowl. And then I was just like, oh my God, remember I was doing lives. I was telling her, I'm like, I just can't believe this. Like I could just feel it, like my body processing. I was just shedding weight like a beast. It's like how I lost like the last like 20 to like 30 of that 120 was really getting into my gut health. And then the whole fucking mold shit and whatever happened. So I find my body reacts bloating, aches, irritable if I eat veggies and I cannot eat any nightshade veggies. Yeah, I can't listen. I just added potatoes back in, Lou, but I haven't eaten nightshades for like 20 years because of eczema, and it's a big inflammation one. So I've added potatoes back in and I am tolerating okay. I actually am tolerating that better than the sweet potatoes, but I cannot do bell peppers. I can't do tomatoes, right? Like that kind of stuff. I eat sauerkraut, mustard, horseradish sauce. Yeah, so I think it, listen, that was just one of my thoughts, right? Like um thinking about like if you're getting those tastes in, because one of the things I did when I realized, oh hey, I'm not hitting all these like different tastes, I was learning all this stuff in my Slayer 2.0 era, where she went over the deep end, you guys. She was like all straight up spirituality. You can hear it in my podcast. You can hear me go through this evolution, right? And now I think I'm back where I'm ingraining that spiritual being with the living, because I am meant to be here in the 3D sharing with all of you. And I was flying a cloud. You know what I'm saying? Not with any drugs or anything, just from being in samadhi and being fucking connected and high, right? Like, and when you're living up in these other dimensions, it's like you kind of step back from like what reality, like, I don't know how to say that, not what reality is, but like, um, the kind of so much of the doing in the world. And I know I'm a doer, I'm a generator. I'm meant to like do and put out into the world and engage and maybe not be in child's pose so much, right? So maybe I need to back off the coffee and cream for like 4 to 5 months. Well, what kind of cream are you using? You know? So are you really hungry? Which was back to the original point I was trying to ask you before I got in the little tangent about the 6 different tastes. Were you really hungry or are you bored, tired? Is it something else? right? Like, is it hunger eating? Is it routine eating? Is it your brain won't quiet down eating? Like, what is that, right? No bored. You're not bored or you are bored. I don't see you being bored ever. I'm just saying. Just saying. Brain won't quiet. Yeah. I will find myself eating a lot because of that. So I have an app I've been using from a woman that owns a school group called Believe. And I like it because I can make playlists with just like her voice, and they're all really good. Some are hypnosis, some are meditation. What I did before I got on this live right now is I just put one on and I went and I laid down and let myself do an abundance meditation where I really didn't want to. I didn't feel like it. I wanted to keep eating. And yeah. So I'm really proud of that. But I think it's like interrupting that. And when I see myself be bored, am I really bored or am I needing something else? Right. And you know, I don't know, Lou, what is the answer? And what are things we can do that I think these have taught us that when we're bored, we go click and scroll and do all of that stuff. But what was life like before we had this and before, like, think how really bored we must have been in the 80s, right? Like, we didn't have any of this shit. We played games, we went outside, what did we do before all of this, right? And we had to wait for the TV show to come on. We couldn't just on demand binge shit, right? Like, what does that look like? I doom scroll. I get bored doing the same thing over and over at times. Yeah, this is probably the hardest part about entrepreneurship for me is doing the mundane. And I was listening to Joe Dispenza and Lewis Howes today from the School of Greatness. They had a little clip on YouTube. I should share that with you guys. Remind me. And they were talking about shit. Now, why was I telling you that? Hang on. Oh, about Dr. Joe, they were talking about creating your future self. And Lewis was like, okay, because he's trying to be an Olympic athlete for handball. It's been his goal for like 18 years, and he can see it and feel it. And then life shifts and, kind of like derailed him from his goal. But he's like, what else do I need to be doing? Right. Because Dr. Joe's like this future self quantum guru. And Dr. Joe's like, well, you're doing it, man. Right. Like, he's seeing himself there. He feels the energy. And I'm like, this is so good because this is the shit we're doing. And that I talk about in the planner all the time, you guys. I'm like, this is the stuff that like they're talking about. Right. And so Lewis is like, I see myself there. I see the crowd cheering. I can feel it in my body. He's like, and then I just keep taking actions to move forward. He's like, but there's always that thought, well, it might not happen. And Dr. Joe was like, that's normal that you have that thought. He's like, I just wouldn't let that be my predominant thought. Right. Like, so if I want to become this food is fuel, it doesn't mean I'm never going to have the thought that, oh, freaking Reese's sounds good, especially when you guys fucking talk about it in the chat like for 5 hours. I'm like, oh, I need a Reese's now. Right. And I have peanut butter in my acai. You guys are totally responsible for my acai smoothie. Just kidding. Look at me outsourcing my agency. So, yeah, I mean, Neville is one of the OGs, right? Like, I love Neville. You would really like Dr. Joe, I think. Lou, he's very scientific about stuff, though, because he's proving this stuff through science, right? So, like, when I went to his 7-day event and literally we meditated for 7 days, dude, I set off the friggin' TSA with my heart. And I didn't have like any metal on me. And my heart was so radiant from friggin' meditating there for 7 days. I set off the walk through TSA thing and I looked at the screen and it was right here. And I had a sports bra on. That is how active energy space my heart was. Like, we did nothing but meditate for 7 days, but he is so strict about, like, you guys can't bring in your crystals. There's no drugs here, because he's scientifically proving people are healing themselves of cancer, healing the eczema, healing whatever, like this Parkinson's. like people getting up on stage and walking after being paralyzed, right? Like, and this is, I mean, it's just really genius. And he was talking today in this one I was listening to about just he's having his mind blown by like, he's like, I'm just thinking these got people are sharing a story, and then we'll see. He's like, it's like the 4 minute mile. He's like, we'll see one person have a healing, and all of a sudden, three more stand up in the audience. It's like once that belief is bridged, and that's what we do on a smaller scale, right? But with weight loss, with creating the life of our dreams, right? We're in this believing room where, like, one of us stands up, we start to believe, we start to believe, we step forward, we become free from food, right? And not that we don't enjoy food. I'm not saying that. I think there's a time to enjoy it and a time to be there. And I am not perfect and I absolutely eat for comfort still, but I'm not going to do it not in awareness, right? And but I am going to do it without judgment. I'm going to see myself, watch myself. I'm not going to berate myself, beat myself up. I know it's not going to stop my weight loss quest. You know why? Because I'm not stopping. I'm going to get up and figure it out. And I'm going to have times I go off plan. I'm going to have times I eat a pint of ice cream and I get back up and I get back on it. Right. And it's not even like I'm off a train. There is no train to get off because I'm never in judgment of myself. Heart is the tutorial energy. Self-judgment is a pain in the ass. Yeah. Chocolate covered peanut pretzels. Oh, those fuckers. Yeah. 80s were the best. Yeah. 80s were good stuff. So, Lou, I don't even know if we got to the bottom of your problem. I know I got off on a tangent. Hey, Julie, what's up, sister? You caught a Friday Night Live. I was just bitching with the girls. We're talking about food freedom today because it came up in our Skinny Bitches call this week. We were talking about some dude on Instagram was saying how when we restrict ourselves, then we just put ourselves into this where we just want to shove everything in our face. And that's why we don't ever succeed. And I said, well, I'm going to choose not to believe that because that's bullshit because I can change my mind, right? So we were like just going through rewiring the thought around it and hormones and how our body responds to sugar. And God, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I'm happy to hang out too. Yeah, you got a lot out of it, Lou? Good, because I don't even know what I was saying anymore. In fact, I'm going to record right now for Lexi the visualization video that I'm going to put up. And I already have my thoughts video put up. I'm doing like a Me First Guide series, you guys, because I was like, hey, how do I serve you guys, right? My midlife badasses that are doing the work. Like, and I thought, I'm going to take the bits and pieces of this that I put together through doing all this work myself and seeing what worked and what worked enough that it made the planner, right? So I'm going to share little different aspects of it in each like little 10-minute YouTube video that I'm doing. So I already have the how to do this part, the believe new thoughts, like how you see yourself. And so when we do the visualization next weekend, I'm putting that workshop together. I'm doing a YouTube video on it, and then we're workshopping it next weekend. We're going to practice them. And Lou, you know how powerful that shit is. Like you talk about your tapping, like it's one thing we go do all these things and we don't practice it. But when you get in the room and I make you practice it, then you start to really embody it, right? Like you really start to do it. So I'm going to show you, right? So this is coming out about believe new thoughts. And then that's going to be our game changer in September. And then we're doing the visualization. And part of this here, I visualize here that future self one that I guide you guys through all the time. That's what I'm visualizing here. And what thought do I need to think to become her? To become this bitch, right? And then that's one visualization. And then I visualize my goal every day. When I write it down, I see myself get on the scale and I'm like, fuck yeah, here we go. Right? Like it just feels, it's not even like a celebration. It's just like, I'm so proud of myself kind of thing. Like, oh, I mean, I think my thought today was, here I go again. I did it again. Look at that. Like, I know I'm going to do it again, but I don't know how I'm going to do it again, and that's part of the mystery of the universe, right? Part of what makes it so fun. And then I have the visualization when I do the outcomes. So we're going to work all of that in the workshop too. You guys are going to practice it. And so you come out the other side with these skills because our minds are so powerful. Like Lewis Howes talking about how he's going to become an Olympic athlete and he visualizes himself there every day. This is what athletes do all day long. Right. And so we're going to like start to practice that muscle. And I think the biggest thing I've seen with women our age that show up to do this work is we think we can't visualize. Like I can't see it. My brain doesn't work. I don't like we're broken. Right. It's just a muscle like everything else. We got to start flexing the visualization muscle and we're all capable and we're going to kick some fucking ass. So this is going to be fun. I know I was telling you guys that. Oh, life's happening. Got a radiator. I have to go too because I have to record this. That's why I was telling you because I have to go record this before I got to pick Millie up. She's taking the tram from school now, which is kind of cool. She's like, I get a good view. They built this light rail here on Oahu, and it finally goes far enough to like be of use to anybody, but it ends up right over by the house here. Now, my parents would have made me walk. I'm just saying. These kids are so bougie nowadays, you guys. They're so fucking bougie. But I go. It's also right next door to our gym. So the game plan is Millie's her first week back, but we're gonna have our go bags. I'm like, remember go bags, Millie? And she goes, Mom, that was just like last year. And I'm like, oh yeah, we just talked about it, right? But a go bag is having my gym shit packed in the car. So anytime I'm out and about in the car, I can stop and jump in at the beach or go to the gym or whatever. We got to pack a go bag. And I like it sounds very, you know me, superhero-ish or whatever. Like I got my go bag, you know? So anyhow, I'm going to go so I can record this amazingness for you guys. So follow along, subscribe if you're watching and you haven't already. Be on the ride because we're not stopping. The Midlife Badass is in the house. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Love you to pieces. And I will see you for next Friday Night Live. Woohoo! And check out the podcast from this week. You can hear from Christy and Kathy from our group. And I'll be interviewing all of you guys watching this at some point. I'm quite sure. Love you guys. All right. I'll see you later. Slayer out.